But indeed, he'll be back with all of that. Back here on the Ghanaian soil after a significant diplomatic tour, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will return with agreement, as I intimated, and renewed partnerships. If indeed you take a look at what we witnessed in the last few days, his visit to the United Kingdom and Belarus precisely focused on strengthening economic cooperation, attracting investment, and also opening fresh avenues for development. Of course, we are here to bring you all the live update, live pictures and videos with regards to the arrival of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Many have described this visit to UK and also Belarus as very significant in the history of Ghana, as well as the two nations that are concerned. And as you can also see on the screen, just a recap of the event that happened while the president was out of the country. Now, if you take a critical look at it, back in the United Kingdom, the president was at the London Stock Exchange. He also visited the 10 Downing Street. He was also at the partnership program and also the stock speech, as you have them on the screen. That's the event as far as the moment he spent in the United Kingdom is concerned. So on the screen now you have the 10 Downing Street event where His Excellency John Dramani Mahama featured as well. He didn't go all alone. He was there with his delegations from the Republic of Ghana. And so that's actually the event that happened in UK 10 Downing Street precisely. But as I intimated, in a jiffy, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will be arriving, and this is actually the background here at the Jubilee Lounge at the Kotoka International Airport, no, the Accra International Airport, pardon me for that. And as I mentioned, also we bring in all this live updates as and when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama touched down here in Accra. But far away in Belarus also, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, okay, so from all indications, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has just touched down here at the Accra International Airport, precisely the Jubilee Lounge. We'll bring you all those videos in a jiffy as well. But as I was saying earlier, in Belarus, the president held bilateral talks with Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko and senior government officials. Yes, just on the screen, that is the aircraft in which His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and his team will be coming out from. Hopefully we get to hear the very good news. But one thing that stands out all has to do with the arrangement with the agri sector, or the benefit the agri sector will be enjoying. I mean, after his visit to Belarus as well. We know the deal definitely went through, and indeed it's just monitoring how the things will be rolled out. But just as I intimated as well, yes, the plane has touched down, moving towards the final point where His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will walk out majestically. Many say that it is indeed true that we ought to celebrate some of these milestones or the achievements chalked so far. It's very significant because barely 2 years and all of these deals have been signed, all these bilateral talks, meetings have been ongoing. I mean, it's not just limited to a particular sector, but it cuts across. Remember, one thing that he is bent on doing is resetting the Ghana agenda. It's so ripe on his table, and that's exactly what he has been doing ever since he assumed office as the President of the Republic of Ghana. So there you see, gradually the plane will surely come to a halt. I'll bring you the few people who will be there to welcome the President. The Vice President indeed is here to welcome His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. As you always have it. Daddy is out, Mommy will be home to welcome him back as well. But just you know, this is actually the special coverage of the arrival of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama at the Jubilee Lounge here at the Accra International Airport. In your short is the Vice President, Her Excellency Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajiman, together with some members of the the presidential team, more like protocol, who are waiting, fervently waiting for the president to come out of the aircraft or the plane, where indeed a conversation, a brief conversation will happen, just as we always do it here on Wezo TV. There you see the Vice President also walking towards the airplane, where it will halt for the president to come out. Indeed, exchange of pleasantries most definitely will happen. And before maybe a message or two will be taken. Security is all in check. Everyone is waiting for that moment where he will come out of the plane for that particular engagement. But as I mentioned earlier,
Western Corridor in terms of marine activity, and that's a £101 million project, and it will create the Takrady floating dock for ship repair. In addition, we also signed an agreement for commercial afforestation in the OT region. Also training of AI. You remember we recently outdoored our AI strategy, and so we're going to collaborate with UK in terms of expanding training in AI. Our AI strategy is headlined AI for Good, and so we'll work together to make sure that AI is beneficial to Ghana. There's also a component for training clinical healthcare engineers to man biomedical equipment. One of our major setbacks has been that anytime we purchase biomedical equipment, their maintenance and repair has been a major problem. So you provide it to the hospital, and in a year or two it's broken down. And so that's one area we're going to focus training for engineers to be able to maintain our biomedical equipment. We had a bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Keir Starmer. We discussed political issues, economic issues, and of course also security issues in respect of the Sahel and all that. And then I had a meeting with King Charles, and there again he discussed a lot of issues to do with Ghana. He's visited here several times, so he had a very, very photographic memory of our country, and he's very well up to date about what is happening all over the world, and so that was interesting. I also took the opportunity to visit Ghanaian enterprises working in UK, and it was interesting. We got some wache from the wache joint, and then we also visited a family business which is a bakery, very well reputed in London. They supply Ghanaian bread, Ben's bread, tea bread, the bread that we're used to. They supply to many outlets across the length and breadth of London. One of the high points of the visit was the London Stock Exchange. I was given the privilege to ring the bell. Now it's not a bell, it's a button, to press the button for the exchange to start. And we were giving that honor because of the performance of the Ghana Stock Exchange last year. It was adjudged one of the best performing stock exchanges after South Africa. And after a long time of scarcity, it has started listing again. First Atlantic Bank listed recently, Zen Petroleum listed, and they are preparing for the listing of Casapreco. And so there was quite a lot of interest in that regard. And so that was the UK visit. We also got an invitation to visit Belarus. And before I left, when I spoke to several people, they said, now Belarus, and also but you'll be shocked at, that country's progress. They were part of the Soviet Union, and while they were part of the Soviet Union, they were the part of the Soviet Union that was focused on production of agricultural equipment for the whole USSR. After the breakup of the USSR, that's an occupational hazard at the airport, and incidentally it was South African Airways. And so after the breakup of the Soviet Union, they maintained the competence of building first-class agricultural equipment. And so we signed an MOU for supply of agricultural tractors, combine harvesters, plows, harrows, boom sprayers, and modern agricultural equipment as part of our program for the farmers service centers to provide mechanization for our farmers. But not only that, they are looking at the whole value chain. So they say it's not enough to have good equipment. It is the agronomy and the seeds and the fertilizer and everything, how you manage the farm. And they are very good at farm management. And so they're not only bringing us equipment, they're bringing us people, personnel to come and work with our farmers to increase their productivity in the area of agriculture. And so we signed 3 agreements there too. One on agricultural cooperation, another one on a joint economic commission, and a third one on trade. Our trade is still low. They buy cocoa from us for their chocolates. They make confectionery, and we also buy some wood products and agricultural material like fertilizers and other things from them. And so they want to see how we can work together to increase the trading amongst ourselves. And so that was Belarus. I had a bilateral with the President Lukashenko, and he was very warm, and I believe that they are seeing the opportunities of opening up into Africa. They also produce mining equipment, drills and trucks and all that, and so they will later send a delegation to Ghana to see what the opportunities in the mining sector are. And so overall it was a very successful visit, and we are not just signing those MOUs, we also signed a visa waiver agreement with them. And so we're not just signing MOUs, we're working to make sure that whatever we discussed and whatever we signed on to is made into a reality. While we've been away, we've been following what's been happening, and I want to thank Vice President Nana for her proactiveness in terms of visiting a lot of the places that were affected by the floods, and also the recent collapse of structures, buildings that lead to deaths. This is an issue that we need to really, as a nation, do some hard searching. And I'm happy Nana explained that discipline must stop. Our values are eroded. We don't care anymore. When it's raining, it's the time for us to pour our garbage in the drain, and we think that we've disposed of it. Yes, you've disposed of it from your house, but it won't go far. It will go and get choked with the garbage from all the other houses, and when the rains come, it will back up into your house. And it goes and it's choked all our drains. People ask, why don't you do underground drains? The underground drains are choked with plastics, the food packaging, those styrofoam things that we buy our food in. After we eat, we just dump it in the drains. It's choked all the underground drains. And then aside from that, we built everywhere. There's a concrete jungle. In many places, in many countries, there are green places that soak the water. In Accra, there's nowhere. The only place left is Children's Park and Achimota Forest. And that one is even in danger of being willed to successors and made part of people's wills. And so we need to address this issue of flooding. People have built in waterways. I spoke about it just before I left. I mean, the sites, the wetlands that absorb the water before releasing them into the Atlantic Ocean are being constricted because people are filling and building and then reducing the volume of water it can contain. If that happens, then if it can't contain that volume of water, then it backs up and it floods everybody's house. And so when the Greater Accra Regional Minister and her team go and they are demolishing houses built in the wetlands, people say government is inhumane, you know, but it's also partly the fault of those who sell those lands. Those lands are not supposed to be sold. And then also partly the fault of our assemblies and the officers who grant the permits. If anybody brings a house that you know is in a restricted area, which is a waterway, it's not supposed to be sold. And so you should not sign the permit for them to build. But some of the houses have building permits. How did they get them? You know, so we have to do some soul searching. And I think government must be firm in doing what it has to do in order that we stop this perennial flood issue. We shouldn't be like the vulture who says he will repair his roof when the rain stops. When the rain stops, then we forget about it. The vulture forgets until the next rain comes, and he promises again to repair the roof. This time, if we repair the roof, we have to really work and repair it. Incidentally, this year too, the rains have been unusually heavy. and that is why we're seeing the extent of flooding that we're seeing. In other years, the rainfall is not as heavy. This one started in May and has continued all the way into June. And so I've directed a task force, NADMO and all the others, to do a presentation to us. We're going to identify all the restricted waterways. And when they have done that, I'm giving the directive that they should go ahead and do what they have to do. And I hope that when we do that, all Ghanaians would understand that it is government's business to protect the safety of all of us. We also need to invest in education, information and education. And so the government communications department and all others must come and put, educational material out there. Now we have the new media. We should be able to do small skits that show our people what not to do in respect of the kinds of things that we do that create problems for us. So